right, welcome in. We are back. We're talking with author Scott Box about Heroic Disgrace. If you can see it wonderfully in the cameras here. How's the book doing? You selling billions of copies?
Not billions. No, sales have been really consistent. It's been amazing. So it released in December, 1st of December, and it's cool to track the sales rank on Amazon because it's, as with anything, you know, there's good days and then it dips, but then another promo thing goes out and it spikes again. And
nice.
Interestingly, I'll be very interested. It's a 3-month. There's basically, there is a 3-month lag to when there's a sale, and then then you get paid.
Right.
So the way that Amazon tracks is a day by day, so you can see it.
Nice.
But the way that you see it is kind of, for the geeks out there, is you'll see that you spiked at, sales rank 20,000 instead of 2 million, which is cool. I mean, that's a giant jump.
Yeah.
But my guess is people that are in the top 100 or 1,000 are making money. If you're in 20,000, you're probably not making tons of money.
Well, I did have to walk past your new helicopter in the yard.
So there it is.
You must be making some money on
there it
Heroic
is.
Disgrace.
It's not me, Carrie Ann. She just sells a lot of houses.
Good for her. She's off to show a house in her helicopter. No, check it out. So we're talking this morning. I don't like helicopters because if the power goes out, you just fall.
Well, isn't that the same in a jet?
No, you at least could probably glide somewhere, maybe land
really
better.
Good point.
And you can't
eject a really good
helicopter.
Point. That's true. Yeah, you crash less hard in a plane.
But speaking of crashing hard, we're wrecking this episode for you guys, just for you. Hope you're having fun. Hey, repulsive, not hopeful. That's the subsection we're going through this morning. In Heroic Disgrace. One of the things in here that caught my mind, or caught my eye actually, which we're going to turn into working our minds a bit today, is this concept that you had thought Carrie Ann should find someone a little less broken than you. So I find that very fascinating, and I brought along a prop here.
Oh, a prop.
A prop. See, it's a catcher's glove.
A broken catcher's glove at that.
Actually, that's a good analogy here.
I knew you were going there.
So I want you to catch something real quick here, okay? Is that as baseball guys, we grew up playing ball together, and when you say you thought Carrie Ann deserved someone a little less broken than you, that would kind of be like saying, hey, I know you picked me on your team. In the schoolyard, everybody picks you out.
Schoolyard pick, yes.
You probably should have picked someone who maybe has a better first step reading a fly ball. Or maybe you should have picked someone who has a little more power. You wouldn't say that to someone who picks you, ever. There's never in the history of sports, I'm pretty sure, Sandlot baseball at least, where a kid gets picked, first or last, and says, hey, captain, you should have probably picked the other guy. Okay.
It could have happened, I suppose, but
that's a sad day.
That's pretty sad.
That's a sad day.
No, you kind of just take the pick. You're the
I'm on the team.
Number two.
You're like, I'm on the team. That's all that counts is you're on the team, right? Yeah. So your repulsive idea here of yourself is that you were essentially saying, hey, Carrie Ann, in your mind at least, you probably didn't vocalize this, but in your mind you're saying, should you have picked someone else? Right.
That's
insightful. and I'm joking here, and I'm having a fun time with this. It's very serious, but I am trying to make light of this thing because it's in the past now, and you've had to work through these things. Hence the book, and you wanting to help other people come to this power of Jesus through what you've been through. Obviously, so take us into that a little bit of when you felt so bad, you would have said, "Hey, you should have picked someone else."
There's that amazing high of being chosen.
Yeah,
I remember when Carrie Ann and I were dating that there's the initial yes when she said
when you ask her out on a first date.
Yeah, I mean that's a win.
The scariest one.
That's a win. Yeah, it is the scariest one.
Yeah.
And
how'd you do that? You want to go through it?
Well, that was the mistake. I feel like we've talked about it where I accidentally called her. I genuinely accidentally called her. But I didn't know who she was, so at the time I didn't. So that was whatever.
Was this in the white pages? And it
was on college campus. So college campus had, for those of you that have experienced living on campus, I'm assuming unless everybody's got mobile phones these days.
Well, they do now, but back in the day.
But back in the day, it was just a 4-digit
right.
extension number. So you just pick up a college campus phone and just dial dee.
Right.
And I flipped a couple numbers. I was trying to call a buddy, and a girl answered, and I'm like, oh well. He's got somebody hanging out in his room, lucky guy.
Exactly. You're like, hey,
and so, hey, tell me about this. And so I made some stupid joke, but Carrie Ann's just obviously just hanging out in her dorm room.
She's like, you called me, bro.
Whatever. Yeah, you called me. So you're an idiot. Anyway, so instead of just hanging up, I was like, hey, so why don't you just introduce yourself to me?
Right.
You know, because she said she knew me.
Right.
So anyway, she made me feel like campus royalty. That was awesome.
Cool.
And then,
right
of course, that was the situation when she came up to me and we were in the food court and I had, like 5 drinks. It was after baseball practice, so I had 5 drinks across the tray and 3 plates of food. And this hot girl comes up to me, and well, maybe, but I almost dropped the plate.
She looked like. You didn't know what she looked like.
No, and who is this girl?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
And anyway, it was amazing because
she's like, I'm the girl you're prank calling. Remember that?
That was my moment. But at the time, I knew I had seen her. She was dating some tennis guy, and he was a tall, dark, and handsome dude.
Guys are,
and so for me, though, but that plays into this. Is that here I am. I'm a redhead. I got my chubby catcher thighs, and I was confident, but.
So she was dating Pete Sampras, and you come along, prank calling her, and then you're saying here, you should have found a less broken guy.
That's right. And think about this. There is something in the mentality that I was having at that point in time where I knew. So it's like he broke up with her.
Right.
Was I the rebound? Was there? There was all of that self-conscious stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, Carrie Ann, the way that I treated her, she loved me. I mean, later on, it was like, oh man, no, she had chosen me. Why was I feeling so self-conscious? There's answers for that, but.
So we have a plan for this episode, okay? We actually have a plan and a plot for this episode.
We did get there.
I don't know how to get there from here. I'm going to work on this. So what I want to get to is taking what God's given you.
Contentment.
And being, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
that's where we want to get.
That's right.
Is being content with what is happening in your life and not always hoping and looking for the next thing when something great is standing right in front of you, or prank calling you in this case. I mean,
what a gift she gave me to be content with me too. That's one of the, and I talk about this in this chapter, is one of the gifts that Carrie Ann gave me is her eternal optimism. That's a personality thing, yes, but she's chosen to be an optimist. And so I had told you a few minutes ago.
Yeah, tell me the story.
And it's just a quick thing, but I met a girl yesterday who she served me at this juice bar place. Anyway, I talked to her about her baby daddy.
Okay.
That's what she calls him. They've been friends for years.
Right.
And then there's, the new guy and the man, and
he's
my current man.
So he's a cop.
So he might be a cop.
The man. It's always a cop.
He's the man. Or the FBI. But the baby daddy, was just the guy that. It wasn't just the guy that got her pregnant. It was the guy that she grew up with. That they just kind of. It was easy.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I guess. Anyway.
Doesn't he know you?
but then there's the other thing. The man, the new man, and she was like. And yet, he doesn't elevate me to the level that I want to elevate. And I was like, well, when will you know that you've reached the elevation you want to reach?
Elevation.
Whatever
we need a
that means.
sponsorship. Come on, elevation. Come on.
I was shocked though, only in the sense that I hadn't had a conversation like that in a while.
Right.
Because people. I'm not judging or critiquing. She's not a believer. She's not. I'm not judging. I'm critiquing the sense
trying to
of
understand where she's coming from,
how,
that she's waiting for better.
How
always.
can you not? Yeah, how can you not just do what Carrie Ann and I did at some level and go, we want to just grow up and grow old together.
Right.
Why not just commit?
Right.
And be content.
Right.
And I don't have that answer for everybody. I also know that there's aspects of failure that plays into people's.
No, that's fear.
Yeah, well, and there's
1,000 fears that are overwhelming her decision to just be with one guy or the other. It doesn't matter. There could be 1,000 guys.
And
it
hurt
doesn't
and
matter.
pain and.
Right. I don't want to be let down. Oh, this guy might not have a great job.
And
whatever.
listen to this. This is one of the realities that I've experienced in my life. And I do think that when I look at somebody else, like this girl, for example, is very real. That pain causes us to be selfish.
Right.
Pain's designed to make us selfish. Otherwise, pain, you don't pull your hand from the heat.
Self-preservation.
There's self-preservation involved. And so there is an aspect of pain that's designed us to be selfish in that way. So if you bring that into a relationship and you've got a lot of it, you're going to potentially struggle with being content.
Yeah. Yeah, and American media is not helping us be content. It's telling you go get a new truck. It's telling you go get a new pair of pants, whatever. Like,
yeah, a new dude and try a bunch of them all at the same time.
Well, there's that as well, and that is whether it's with boys or girls, it does not matter. Like, guys are being told, "Hey, your girlfriend is getting older. Your girlfriend is gaining weight. Your wife, your whatever it is, okay? The woman is being told, "Oh, hey, Pete Sampras is still out there," you know. Right. Like, we don't need all this. This doesn't help us. Yeah. The contentment is there. Like, you're never gonna go marry John Stamos.
How will you
Be
know?
content.
How will you know? I mean, the question is, how will you know when you've arrived?
I think you arrive when you're working at something. I was talking to my kids this morning about this because the verse of the day today was that God will provide for you. I know it's really hard to understand. He will provide for your needs. That was what it was. And I asked my girls, I said, what is he providing for us? Like, and my daughter said, oh, food and housing and all this. I said, not a Lambo, not a helicopter like Scott has in his yard.
Yeah, right. Totally.
I said, not those. And they both, my daughters were like, no, it's needs. It's not wants.
Yeah.
And so I want us to remember this, that you might want a better XYZ, but you don't need a better XYZ. Right? What are you doing for God? What are you doing in your life? Building in your life is what God wants. And I told them, I just used an analogy. I said, hey, is God turning on to the channel of you every day to watch what you're doing in your life? Or is God like knowing you're not doing nothing? I'm not watching that channel. Boring. No, you're not building anything. You're not creating anything. Wow. You're not chasing anything. You're not doing anything with the life I have given you, right? And I think that if I see this two ways. Contentment is not laziness. That doesn't mean you're not doing anything. Contentment means you're happy with what you have and you're building it. You're working on what you have. You're not just letting it go into the ground. You know, you're cleaning up your situation, as we talk about every day in Heroic Disgrace. I really think this contentment piece is huge. And when you tell me that story about the girl, I just had to go get the catcher's glove. Okay, and say, this is for catching something, okay? What do you do when you catch the ball? You have successfully done something when you catch it in baseball. That's a big deal, and it takes a special glove to catch a 100-mile-an-hour pitcher.
Sure.
Okay, it has all this padding and all this stuff.
Right.
God has created you not to keep chasing, okay? God has created you to work on your marriage, to work on your relationship, and to be content with what you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How can we take this right here from being repulsive and not hopeful and say, let's skip to the end of the book to where we are today and say, if you would have given up because you were too repulsive, she should have gone after someone better with more talents, more skills, less brokenness, right? You wouldn't be where you are today with a much stronger relationship built on a foundation that took work.
She could have opted out, and so could I, because of all sorts of different reasons.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So we were playing a baseball game the other day, and speaking of the catcher and the pitcher, the catcher caught a pitch and then, just took the ball and threw it back to the pitcher.
This happens a lot.
For some reason, every pitch. And the pitcher misses the ball. It ticks right off the top of his glove, hits him square in the nose.
Poor pitcher.
Drops him. I mean, it just dropped him. And
oh no!
And it wasn't like the catcher threw a laser beam. He threw a nice little shot back and just doink, dropped the kid.
I'm sorry. This is
and what's the point?
I have
of
a great visual image.
What's the point of a glove if you don't catch what's thrown to you?
Right.
It's going to smack you in the face.
You have to focus on that.
You really have to focus on what's been thrown to you. I love this image, and so the thought of the pursuit and the reflection of Jesus as it plays into the contentment of what we have is so necessary in order to live the lifestyle that I'm calling us into, because I'm living that lifestyle.
Right.
I'm doing the best that I can to model a lifestyle of contentment in the framework of pursuit and reflection of Jesus.
Right.
If we cannot do that, if we can't pursue Jesus and reflect him in that regard, we will never be content.
Right.
I mean, it's a cyclical thing, though. You've got to be willing to pursue Jesus and reflect Jesus into contentment. Otherwise, there's no other way to get there. Culture is too loud. There's too much other noise.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? What Satan's trying to do is distract you.
Well, from the pitch, from the throw, and it's going to smack you in the
Could have
face.
been
And you're
anything.
going to wake up, and life is going to be over.
Yeah, there is that. Can you say that again?
It's going to hit you in the face. It's going to knock you out. You're going to wake up, and life is going to be over.
If you do not commit to what you're doing and you do not work on what you're doing, you will wake up and life will be over. Okay, like we have today. Like we have one shot at this. Today, tomorrow is not promised. Yeah. Okay, that's a big deal to me. That's a big deal in my life. That's what I take away from this. If you get chosen, maybe commit to that you get chosen by. Like I love what you're saying in this, and I love this subsection because you should never say, yeah, thanks, but you should pick someone else. You should jump to the front of the line to say, I can do this. I will get better at this.
That's right.
I have the abilities God has given me. Because yesterday's verse of the day was God created you a certain way because that's what he wanted by his will. Okay, so
That's right.
I mean,
Own
really
it,
think
then.
about
Own
this.
it.
Yeah, God made you a certain way because that's what he wanted you to be like. And he was like, he spun you up like a top and said, let's see what you can do.
Isn't that cool?
Now go do it. So check us out. Here it is. Check author Scott Box out and get him another helicopter. Do you need another helicopter? Do you need a jet boat now?
When you say that, I think of the little maple tree things that you throw in the air and they helicopter down. We got plenty of those around. So yeah, I've got like 20 helicopters here. 200.
It's a mansion over here. So here we go.
See what I mean?
Poor people don't know. Hey, we're just being funny. We're being real. Here it is. Heroic Disgrace. Okay. Our lights are so bright. I hope you can see it. You can check this out on Amazon. Get it on Amazon. Get it anywhere books are sold. Google Heroic Disgrace. Google the Worship Hero Project. Google Scott Box. You can Google Clint Koenig if you feel like you would like to. You're going to find all sorts of weird music and stuff. But check this out. Check this out. What we want is for you to reach out to us on social media.
Yes.
So whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're on, you could use a phone. Please, though, our show does not encourage prank calling. This episode especially. So I hope you have fun.
4 digits. Good luck reaching anybody with 4 digits.
Good luck. Good luck. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining us.